I'm new. I don't know anyone there. I literally been there for like what's May. I started in April, April 1st.
Yeah, so right now I'm doing a field paper, like interviewing people. Like, for example, I want to know how do you got into the media field, where you're at today, what was the interest?
Okay, nice.
Yeah, just like what made you get into it, into directing, church media?
You know what? It's fun. It's funny because it's church. Church is what got me into it. I never thought I was gonna be into media. I I always loved making movies as a kid. I was a guy. I was a cousin with the camera. We had the big one of those big cameras with the cassettes, and I was a guy, that I was recording. So I always loved it, but I didn't think of it as a career. And in one of my old churches, my first church here in San Diego, we came in from TJ, from Tijuana with my family, and we were musicians. My brother and I, and my sister, we were all in the worship team. And I was in the worship team, but I wasn't like the best one. I was a keyboard player. There was other keyboard players, so I was like a backup. I was in the youth, and I liked it a lot. But I became friends with these two guys, and they were running the video production team. You know, so basically they invited me to be on the camera crew, and that's how I got in. I got in because I wanted to be around my friends more than actually doing the worship anymore. I still did worship for the youth, but on Sundays I started doing cameras, and it was just that. That's why when I became a leader eventually, I always wanted to have give people that experience. Just young people. Some people said they didn't like production or they didn't know about it, but I just remember how I got in. It was just because my friends were there, so you had a good time. And I learned, and then yeah, I started doing cameras and video and learning directing at church, and I loved it. And then it became my career.
Awesome. So, who taught you? Like, did you learn yourself from like self learning on YouTube, or figured out the manual?
Yeah, no, no. Back then, I mean, I'm 33 years old, so back
Yeah.
then YouTube wasn't that big. When I was in high school, I was in middle school when I started. So there was no YouTube. Well, maybe there was YouTube. We were just not into it.
It's just barely starting.
Yeah. So basically, I learned from my friends. They taught me, these two guys. They taught me how to do camera work. And like I said, I've always liked it on my own. So I always had like an ability and just learned. I don't know. I don't remember how you would learn back then. Like because there was no. I was gonna say videos, but no, it wasn't from YouTube. It was from experimenting, looking at movies. It was more of that. More of documentaries and stuff like that you got involved with. But actually, teaching me, like it was me. It was self-taught. I started when I got involved with these people in this church. We started doing videos for the youth group, and we would literally like record them in these cameras, and I would edit them an iMovie or something super basic. And as the time progressed, there was always more options to learn, but I never studied it. I never studied film or production. It was always just being in there. And I think the church is a great way to learn any craft because you literally exposed to it like 3 4 times a week forever. you know so if
Exactly.
anyone sees ministry as an opportunity to for a career, like jump in a ministry that serves kind of like your purpose. Like if you're gonna be in like working at a hotel or restaurants, like serving hospitality, serving in a coffee shop, or if you're gonna be in production photography, like serving the team, because you're literally doing hands-on like 3 4 times a week, and that's really what gives you the skill and what you learn. Yeah. Yeah.
That was cool. Got to
Yeah.
know him. Got exposed to a little bit of technology, but now I'm starting to know the more details behind it at school.
And you're studying production?
Yeah, like media communication, the whole theory, like we're communicating messages to the masses.
There you go, dude. And
You're getting
honestly, it's the
theory
same
and
story.
technology. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the same story because I started too when I was in middle school. I was probably 13, 14 as well at church, and it became a career. So literally, you're doing what I just said. You know, like you get involved in it at church, you do it so much, and then without you even thinking about it, you're immersed in it, and now you're studying it for a career. So same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it for like 3 years, from like 2013 to 2016. It's
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
You were great, dude. When I was there, you were loyal. You were always there doing it, and we knew that you had the skill. So that's great that you're pursuing it.
Yeah, are you helping Pastor Abe's local church?
And what I can, I wanted to. Honestly, I wanted to. That was like
Yeah,
my goal and dream. But got up, got opened a good opportunity at Eastlake.
yeah,
So I'm full time there, all week, all Sundays. So I can't like local church is not like where I serve anymore.
yeah.
But if they have like an event or if they have anything that I can help with, like fixing some photos or editing something, like I'm all in. And Eastlake is very good. Like they're very cool. You know, the pastors talk to me since from the get go. They know my story. They know my family. So they were like, hey, whatever you can help them with, go for it. You know. So they're very open. But no, local, it's on their own. They're doing their own team and production. I'm looking from afar.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you really focus on in media, like editing or like overseeing the church?
As a job, you mean, or
Yeah,
or
like what you've been doing at Heart Rip and what you're doing now at Eastlake. What was your main job?
okay? So at Hard Rev, I was a production director,
Yeah,
and I oversaw like five different ministries. I was overseeing live production, which is on Sundays and services, and I was overseeing like production, which is the videography,
yeah,
video editing, recording the announcements, recording the promos. I was overseeing those. I was overseeing the photo team, social media, and after 2020, a little late 2019, like after the summer, I started overseeing the sound and lights, like the tech. I didn't do it. I was just overseeing the ministries, you know, the heads of ministries. So at Hard Rev, I was doing a lot of production, and every of those ministries that I mentioned had a head of ministry, uh, who like I put in place or they were put in place before. So I was just basically managing them to produce, and they were really good leaders. So everything that you saw was a teamwork. But basically, you know, like I just got the vision from the pastors, and we would run it. My specific duties, like during the week, I was a video editor. You know,
yeah.
besides like scheduling, building team, like, it was a lot. Harder definitely helped me because it gave me so much to do. You know, literally when I applied at Eastlake, they were shocked. They were shocked at my resume because they're like, "There's no way you do all of this." They're like, "But which ones of this do you do? Like, do you do social media or productions or video editing, or do you take the photos or do you edit them or do you manage the teams?" I was like, "Yeah, all of it."
One man band.
All of it, dude. All of it. And it's one man band, honestly, just on the brain because I
Yeah,
cannot do everything, you know?
of course,
That's why in Hard Rev, I counted with so many people
of
to
course.
run the team. Obviously, I know how to do everything, and you would tell them what you needed to do to make a successful service.
Yeah,
Nobody would be able to do it alone, you know? You can't do photos and direct
oh
and
no way.
social media at the same time. So at Harvard, I did all of that, and when I applied at Eastlake, they were shocked. So he gave me a really good chance, and I got the job, you know,
Uh,
because of my experience, and I could do all of these things. But at Eastlake, it toned it down a lot, and I think it was a great God blessing because at Eastlake they only need my job position is content creator. So I stopped doing all the production. They have literally they have three people at Eastlake that do full time the jobs that I was doing as one person. At Eastlake, I went from production director to content designer, and I create content for social media. I manage the Instagrams, and I have to manage the website and the app. So basically, it's just week. It's work during the week.
does that entail creating like newsletters for people that are like wants to join the church?
Yeah, on my week work, we work a lot with Mailchimp and the church network and PushPay apps. So I've been creating, and I'm learning a lot, you know, because it wasn't my strength. I told them actually when I was getting interviewed, I was exposed to the app and to all of those like admin sides of the websites. But I was only doing it as a designer. I was updating the photos or making a graphic for a banner.
Yeah.
But now I'm actually going in and I have to create newsletters every week, update the context of the new members of the church, people who sign up, people who join a ministry, people who register for baptisms, child dedications. I get all those forms, and I'm just managing all of that. So I'm slowly taking charge of that. But honestly, it's a huge church, and they have like 5, 6 campuses, full on like working campuses. And in my job, I get things from all of the campuses. So it's a lot of office work. Yeah.
And if people shoot like some events at the satellite campus, they send it back to you at the main.
Yeah, everyone sends. They have a very organized system, so everyone sends request forms. So this last week I had like 4 request forms. Like I think the Imperial Beach campus is doing water baptisms. Torrey Pine campus is doing blood drives. Venice Beach campus, they're doing a summer launch series.
They got a LA campus, Venice.
Venice Beach, yeah,
Oh wow.
the LA campus. They're doing like a new summer series. So I got all those forms, and the youth is planning a student conference. In our Chula Vista campus, we're starting a 2-week series, and then we're launching another one. And last week we had Mother's Day. So all of those graphics coming in. The children's department, they're like, hey, the children's need like a new thing. So I got those forms. It's massive. Like I get lost, but I'm learning it.
Are you using like TikTok in your job or just Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube? Like uploading services on YouTube, or that's not your job?
Yeah, YouTube is not my job, thankfully. They have their production crew, they have their creative director, who's great, and then they have the production director, and they do have an editor, like a full-time editor. So they focus on the service recordings, camera people. I don't touch none of that. And they do upload to YouTube, and I do touch it after. But once they finish and they upload everything, which is what I would do before, once all that is finished, I just have to pull it and cut the 1-minute videos for Instagram and do anything. You use the services that they recorded for the promos or for Instagram or for like anything else. But yeah, I don't mess with YouTube or Facebook.
Cool. I'm glad it's much more in the design focus, social media, because I know that's a ever growing industry.
Oh, hey, you know what? It's a great opportunity because my resume was already huge in production, and
Yes.
and when I was getting hired, when I was in the interview, they were like, "Hey, but this job is not production." They were kind of like worried that I wasn't gonna like it, and I was like, "Dude, don't worry about it. Like, like social media is the new trend. So I already know production. So
There is still going to always be production, but it's leaning towards social media, YouTube route.
oh yeah, for sure. And then actually, that's one of the reasons why they hired me, because they've had people run social media before, and they changed it to content creator because they want me to create the content, not just post it.
It's amazing how that there's different ways to like get your job. Sure, there's the college route. Sure, there's the apprenticeship route. Did you feel like you were under an apprenticeship at HeartRev, or not really?
Always, always. There's always something to learn.
Exactly.
I think when I started in HeartRev, I was just an editor, and it took me, I believe, 2 years just as an editor before I became a director. And in that time, you got to learn a lot of skills that I didn't have in leadership, mostly, and editing. Like I said, I never studied editing. I never studied none of that. So, like you've always learned on the go at church. So I learned editing, and then I picked up photography later on there at church as well. Video editing, videography, photography as I go. And then when you pass on that, when I became a director, there was a new people coming in, you teach them, but then I had to learn another skill. I had to learn how to lead, how to manage teams, how to schedule, and then you became something else, social media director. Like social media came hard, eventually, like after 2012. So then you started learning, posting, analytics, audiences, and then I became some like tech director. So I had to learn a little bit of background in lights and sound, how it worked, tech, setting up. Like my background in worship helped on that. So I think the apprenticeship is always there. And even now, I moved to Eastlake as a full-on content designer. I have my experience there, but now I'm learning the tech side of building websites. Like a little bit of coding, a lot of like forms inputting, a lot of like info and like church network.
Yeah,
All of it's always like there's never gonna be a time where you're not learning.
that's
Um,
awesome. I know some jobs are like by the hour, that like salary. How does that work? I guess just a general question.
yeah, yeah. I think for both the churches that I've worked at, the staff work salary. So I honestly love it. There's the pros and cons. Like literally my first week at Eastlake was Easter. So you already know we worked a lot. We worked Friday services, Saturday events, Sunday services, extra services, um, and then more. So with salary, as it works at a church, there could be weeks like Easter where you work a lot, and you don't get paid extra. But then there's other weeks that you do just one service, the week is very calm. You work from home and you get paid the same. So I like it a lot, and also working for the church, you already know, and I've learned that as the years because I've worked at church for years, right? That you can just always think of it as a job. Like you also go to church, you
Exactly.
also go to church, and there's also ministry. A lot of people like you guys have jobs, you guys do things, and then you go serve. So every time we go into overtime, as salary, I like to think about it as ministry. Everything that I do on my hours is my job, is my responsibility. But say like Easter, if I'm off on Fridays, and they have Easter services Friday nights, English and Spanish, like that's ministry. That's for God and that's for the people, and honestly, it doesn't take away. Like we don't ask for overtime or none of that.
Wow, that's very interesting. I'm
Yeah,
glad I got to know a little bit of your story.
yeah.
That was cool. I feel like I got to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, dude. And it's been years. It's been years, but like when there's always all these questions of like, why is this person like that? But once you know the background of their job and the ministry and their ideas, like you get to know someone a little better. So it's cool. It's cool that you're interested in learning from people in the field. Yeah.
Like people I know, obviously, because I'm trying to do a paper on the projection of the media field for jobs in organizational communication, like a real world example.
Yeah.
And they're like, perfect. I know you. You're non-school affiliated. Like we go way back.
Yeah.
The professors like try to reach non-school people, whoever you know, or people you don't know. It's like I don't know how I'm gonna reach strangers. It's kind of hard,
Right.
on Zoom. Like, hi.
How many more people are you trying to find?
Probably one more. Probably another professor, another student that graduated.
Okay, people and same in the production fields from church.
No, just anybody I know in class here at Point Loma, like that are skilled in media communications.
Got it. Yeah, if you need any contacts, let me know, and I'll send any other people your way.
And I know the home coffee design, was it Pastor Crystal designed it a little bit?
Which one? The interior?
Yeah.
No, I believe the interior was a teamwork with Pastor Abe, Crystal, and David Ennis. I remember 2020, they were together going back, whatever places. I don't know. Dang, I thought I knew, but interior they were going to
Those
IKEA.
chick places.
Yeah, IKEA, Home Depot, like any places where they were gonna get the look. They put it together, and I had some pictures on my phone when David was painting. David did a lot of the handwork himself, so much respect, and it looks really nice. Like it's one. You know what's funny story? A lot of people from Eastlake, they hear that I came from Horeb, and they're like, "Oh, we love home coffee." Like we go to home coffee every Sunday before church, and I'm like, "Oh, I used to do that at work." Yeah.
Small world.
Whole world. Yeah. Every time I see their posts, they're always posting at home coffee, and I'm like, hey, there you go.
We're all near within a few miles of each other.
Yeah. And honestly, home coffee, I believe, and a lot of my friends do. Like, it's one of the best coffee shops in Chula Vista.
Home
You
coffee?
know, home coffee, dude.
Or
Like,
National City, whatever.
well, yeah, National City, but I mean, in Chula Vista, there's also not a lot of good coffee shops. Because
Yeah.
a good coffee shop, and then we go into little different. Like, you need the good coffee, great people, and the vibe. And home coffee has all of that. Like the coffee is really good. Motor beans, I think they use. Better buzz background and great people, and the look looks great for photos and everything. So, dude, you got a win-win right there.
To bring in the coffee shop culture to the suburbs because it's normally a North Park
Yeah, it
thing.
definitely has like a downtown vibe in National City, and that's unseen. I
And
miss.
everybody from the county's coming down now.
Oh yeah, dude. I miss the. If you ever want to buy me coffee, give me a home coffee like a chai latte or the hibiscus lemonade.
I
I was.
love David's creativity, like Promised Land drink. So creative.
Yeah, the Promised Land is a great one because the milk and honey. I didn't get it in the beginning. I was like, why is Promised Land? Because of milk and honey. Great. I love it.
How's the coffee shop at Eastlake?
Woo! Bro, no, there's no coffee shop at East Lake.
Really?
No, there's no coffee shop. It's right next to the mall. So
Multi Ranch Mall?
yeah,
Okay.
there's like three little shopping centers. It's right next to the Target one. There's a big shopping center. So there's like Jamba Juice, Wings. There's a Frutisa. There's like four Starbucks. So I don't think they need to invest in coffee because people have so many options.
True.
I get coffee at Barnes and Noble and then come back.
Got to charge your battery.
Charge the battery, come back and do services. Yep.
Awesome. Right now I've been using a lot of Premiere Pro for my project when I edit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I work with people. Sometimes we're not always approachable. We got different schedules. In college, you got other classes, so it's hard to work together sometimes.
Yeah. No, Premiere Pro. When did you learn it? Have you used it for a while?
Yeah, I've used it since 2019. I learned a little bit back then. I was using iMovie because I was having a hard time with Premiere until I figured out that problem of exporting. It's like, oh, how's a silly problem? Then
There you go. Hey, and honestly, like you're in the best place because YouTube.
yeah,
You
and people
literally-
in person to help.
Yeah, but literally everything I use Premiere. I've used it for years. But every time, like you get stuck in something or you see a video and they did like a cool thing, you just Google that and there's a tutorial for that, literally, and it's easy. It's cool. It's cool to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to grow Photoshop skills, even though photography isn't my main thing. It's good to know it as a skill. I'm just trying to be open to a lot of things.
No, and you should. Like in my experience, like one of the things that landed me this really good job is that I was knowledgeable in a lot of areas. Because if it was between me for social media and somebody else, and I know graphic design, I know how to make videos, and I know how to edit, versus someone who only knows how to post on social media, well, I got the job because I was able to produce more. So even if it's not your main job, like if you're doing production, learn graphic design, learn photography, learn editing, learn people skills, and even be in front of the camera, because all of that, even if you don't use it, that experience is going to help you in your job.
The only thing I know for graphic design is like Canva. I guess that's a good skill, I guess.
It's definitely a start, like I'm all for apps, like graphic apps. Just learn, you can use any tool, you can use any app, but just learn the concepts of graphic design, like
Canva, like the colors, discern like what's the theme, the vibe.
exactly theme, colors, like don't overcrowd your graphics or overcrowd it if that's what the client wants, but just look into graphic design principles and just use any tool, any app, anything. You don't need to pay money for graphic design apps or programs.
The reason I like this is because the storytelling, you're getting a message out there. Are you going to inform people, uplift, or what? That's our whole goal.
Yeah,
We're communicating ideas.
exactly. You're communicating it in the most effective way, because there's so much competition now, and it's not like in a bad competition, but like everyone's looking at ads and programs every day, commercials. So what is going to make your commercial like cause an impact on them, that they feel like, oh, I want to go there because that commercial was cool,
Especially, post-COVID, I guess the churches more than ever had to tap online. I'm glad our church was prepared before that.
Oh yeah, dude. They had a great system, church outdoors, church inside, church online. Like you had like you have the entire capacity to actually produce and send it out, from the
I bet you
get-go.
were tired working last Easter when Abe had to just jump in the water.
Dude, remember that? Like, yeah, 2020 was wild.
I bet they make you work overtime at the church.
We did. We actually worked. I mean, the production team. Everyone else was at home watching services.
Of
We're like,
course.
oh, church at home is great. And production team, we were there like 8 hours a day because we had to record the services and edit them and post them and premiere them and like stream them on Sundays and post social media. And it was a wild ride. But honestly, I think besides the downfalls of COVID, and health and people suffering, like I think it was one of the best years for production. We learned so much. The team got so much closer, and we grew a lot. Like the production teams everywhere grew, because that's all we needed. That was like the main church.
I feel like creativity got a little bit better, like a silver lining.
Dude, exactly. Like, not gonna wish COVID again for no one, but as far as creativity world,
Yeah.
it pushed the world to a next level. Everyone's at a next level in production now. Like, look, we're doing a meeting in Zoom, and Zoom has existed for a long time. And the other one before, what was it?
Skype.
Uh, Skype. And we weren't really using it. People would use it. I
Only for
Skype.
people that are like far in the East Coast or something.
Exactly. I would talk to a friend in, like, I think he would lives in Rosarito or Ensenada, a photographer. He was teaching me a lot, and we would Skype like once a week. But I would never think of like doing casual meetings or conversations. And now it's like doing meeting, and then boom, in the next half an hour you're gonna do another meeting, another meeting. You just launch the
Yeah.
work.
I still talk to people in person. I think things are getting a little bit better, but it's a good alternative. I felt like we forever jumped into the future
Yeah.
unintentionally.
Oh yeah, we jumped into like 10 years future. But definitely always get coffee with someone. Like the personal, it's always good.
Definitely, definitely. I definitely want
And
to meet up with you. I know you're busy. It was great talking.
dude, yeah, for sure. And let's connect soon. Like I know
Yeah.
today we had another meetings and everything. But anytime you need, or we can just go get coffee and talk more for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
For sure, man.